Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with everything fat related. If that's something that interests you, please do subscribe. I would love to have you. So today I wanted to talk about fat acceptance TikTok again because there is this other aspect that I have noticed. Like many of you guys, I have watched a lot of reactions to fatness TikToks, and I wanted to really touch on this aspect of it and just give my perspective as somebody who is currently fat, because I see this very toxic envy. You know, the greenest envy. Ooh, as green as this apple. I see it in a lot of fat acceptance people when they look at thin people. And it's really bizarre to me just because it is possible to be thin. Like, if you are fat, you can become thin. So it's strange to me to be envious of somebody.
You don't have to be perfect or exceptionally great. You don't even have to be good.
But I do! I have to be all those things at once, all of the time.
So oftentimes I think that envy can come from a sort of false perception of reality. I think a lot of times we see the other person as having something that they don't actually have. And I, like many people who are overweight, I grew up with family members who were thin. And the truth is, like, when they didn't eat healthy all the time, they were talked badly to, about it. When they were, as far as having a personality or not, that's kind of, it's really harsh. I don't think making an entire personality about your weight is necessarily having a personality either. I think a lot of these things, thin people could point the finger right back at fat people. When it comes to dating and, interpersonal, that kind of stuff, it can be true, but I would say that's more of a pretty privileged thing. I think if you're really, really pretty, you don't necessarily have to have a personality and people will like you, because people in general, there is a sort of love of pretty people. People really like proximity to it. They're drawn to people that are beautiful people, and that's male or female. So I think that would be something different. Then people don't dress nicely either. They can look really bad too sometimes. Like, it depends, I know for me personally, I definitely noticed a difference when I moved to Alabama. I did not dress very well when I first moved here, and I think it was just, I was so hypothyroid that I wasn't even seeing colors really. Like, I didn't notice that I was wearing stuff that wasn't matching just because I wasn't mentally or physically well. And, in November of 2021, I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, like my gay brain turned on, or my freaking, I don't know. I realized I was completely unstylish. Like, I had completely lost touch with any semblance of fashion, and it freaked me out. And I changed immediately. I got rid of, I purged my whole closet. I really had a gay moment. It was really cheesy, but I will say, like, when I started dressing with my right colors and I started doing all this stuff, people noticed. Like, I got, people thought I looked better in person. Like, I go out in public a lot, so people would smile at me more and this kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's just because I'm fat. I just think it's like, it depends on like where you're living. Because when I lived in California, nobody cared. Like, in Cali, you can go to the store in like pajama bottoms and slippers, and nobody cares. So it's really regional as well. If you're in college, maybe there might be less judgment of a thin woman or a thin young woman who is not dressing nice versus a chubby one, but I would say it's probably similar, honestly. I just think the thin woman, more often than not, just wouldn't care or just wouldn't be thinking about it.
People in larger bodies give up their cultural currency when they stop dieting. What does that mean? Cultural currency is this idea that We have cultural value if we do certain things, if we look a certain way. It can be kind of related to privileges. Is that if you exist in a certain way in a certain body, you already have cultural currency. If you're in a thin body, you have a lot of cultural currency.
First, I just want to say that this, I believe, is how a lot of fat acceptance people view the world. So it's giving very hierarchical thinking. It's giving very, this person is worth more than this person vibes, which is extremely, extremely toxic. Culture is very, it's very subjectively experienced, and a lot of what people view as culture can be determined by their own mindset and what they choose to surround themselves with. I personally don't want to be a part of a lot of different things, so I want to create my own. Nothing is stopping you from doing the same. I don't experience the world in the way that you do because I'm not surrounding myself in those communities. If I went to, the fashion community and they were all starving themselves and trying to get as thin as they possibly could, I might feel differently than if I went to hometown buffet every day. I would have a completely different cultural experience. And it's really up to us what we decide to do.
If you're in a fat body, you don't have a lot of cultural currency. But the cultural currency you do have is if you are dieting, because then you are considered a good fat person. Shout out to Intuitive Fatty, who has a great blog on good fatty versus bad fatty. So this idea is that when you choose to stop dieting, you give up that sense of inherent value because you are no longer existing in the norms of society. And that's a really hard thing for people to do, especially when they didn't have a lot of cultural currency to begin with.
A lot of what they're viewing is of their own creation. I have never been told by a thin person, wow, because you're not dieting, I see you as less of a person. That has never happened. And so it's like, this is a mental, internal thing that she believes about herself, which is, it's fine. Like, you can believe whatever you want about yourself. I don't really care, but take responsibility for that.
I'm sorry, I'm convinced that the majority of the skinny women on this app who claim they have body dysmorphia do not. Because you're telling me that this filter that, the filter that's going around right now that like makes you fatter and then you can like take it away, skinny women are using it to like reaffirm to themselves that they're not in fact a fat, ugly, disgusting cow, and they need to, share it to the internet, and they claim that it's their right to because they have body dysmorphia and it really helps.
I can kind of see the point here, and I also don't. So I feel like I'm very much of two minds about what she's saying here. When I do see something like this, where like apparently there were thin women on TikTok where they were putting up like fat filters on them and then just feeling so relieved that they could take the filter off, I will say it's kind of, again, I'm of two minds. Where it gets me is that they say that it's to help their body dysmorphia. Now, I myself, I have not really struggled with body dysmorphia. I have struggled with hating my body, but that's, I think, a little bit different. I hated the reality of what my body was. I think when you are body dysmorphic, like the closest thing I had was back in September, I was losing weight and my body didn't feel like mine. It felt weird to me. It felt alien. And it definitely passed, but it was something, where I sat and I looked at two pictures of myself. I stared and I compared the two pictures for like almost 4 hours. And I was like really having a massive anxiety feeling of like, am I losing? Am I not? I don't feel like I look different. Do I like the way I look? Like, how is this? Like, we're just asking endless questions and like really criticizing my body and just really having a moment. So it's like, part of me can understand-ish, but part of me doesn't, because I feel like body dysmorphia, and I could be wrong, I feel like it's a very private struggle, so it's odd for me to hear that people are doing that. It sounds like maybe this person does have a point, that it isn't real, that they're just using it to make fun of fat people or whatever, which it's like, if you want to make fun of fat people, then take the criticism for making fun of fat people. I get criticism. I got criticism on my videos. of the stuff that I talk about. You just have to deal with it as a content creator.
Like, it really helps. Like, that's sick. And not like sick, like disordered, like eating disordered. Like vile. Like, that's disgusting behavior. And honestly, people who use this filter to like genuinely help with their body dysmorphia, you need to take a long sit in front of the mirror and look yourself in the eyes and judge yourself for once, and not your fat version of yourself that, holy shit, doesn't even exist. There are fat people who live every day in those bodies, and you come on this app and make fun of them and tell the fucking world that you're scared to look like them, and that thank God you don't. You're assholes, like literally. And
I feel like she's getting towards a point where she's starting to be like this performative, like she's so upset about something when it's not that big of a deal.
like the behavior that I'm like now seeing that's like compelled me to like pick up my phone and make this video is like the women in these comments when fat people make responses about people using this filter, which they have a right to because it's fucking offensive. Tell me why, instead of saying, oh yeah, that makes sense, that's a really fucked up thing to do, to use your body as a way to like counteract my mental illness. They say shit like, everyone's allowed to be insecure. Are we gatekeeping insecurities now? Literally suck my dick. You're the worst fucking people.
So like I said, this is another situation where it goes both ways, right? If somebody's insecure, like I did not post for many reasons, but the two pictures I was comparing, they were nude pictures. I would not post that anyways because that's just not my style. It isn't me. It's not my morals. I don't do that type of stuff at all, nor will I ever. Even though I do have some people that ask me all the time, I'm like, no. Just because I'm gay doesn't mean I'm going to do OF. But what I will say is, even if I wasn't nude in those pictures, I still wouldn't have posted it because I felt insecure and I wouldn't have wanted to take harsh criticism about something that I felt insecure about in that moment. So it does, I feel like, you know, both sides of the coin here are being fake. I feel like her outrage and her, this is so offensive, I feel like that is performative. But I also feel like, are you gatekeeping insecurity? I feel like that's also fake. So I feel like there's two fake sides to a fake coin. And I think it's kind of equally ridiculous on both ends.
You guys are like the kind of people that like everyone hates. Like Rachel Berries. Literally the Rachel Berries of the internet. I'm like forever calling all like skinny women in TikTok comments Rachels. But you Rachels are fucking annoying. Instead of admitting that you literally have fat phobia, you're admitting in the comments that you use this filter because it like actually helps you. In that case, you're actually super fucking ill. I know I started this video saying like, I don't believe you have body dysmorphia because like I kind of think that I think you're lying. I don't think the filter works on you like that because I do have body dysmorphia and that's not how it works. Anyway, y'all just want an excuse to be fat phobic. So leave fat people out of it and go to therapy. Dear God.
The internet does not exist for your comfort, regardless of who you are. Other people don't exist for your comfort. Other people have a right to do stuff that you don't like. Other people have a right to criticize you for doing stuff that they don't like. People have rights, you know, we can all do this back and forth. If I were to live my every single day thinking, oh my gosh, look at this thin guy over here, like, look at how much privilege he has, look at this, look at that. Like, I don't think that way. I can just appreciate somebody else for looking aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Especially as a gay person. Like, I look at another guy that's in shape and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's attractive or whatever, right? It's like I can just appreciate it. I don't have to be envious of it because I can have it for myself if I want it. But I'm okay with where I'm at in the sense that, like, I accept my body today. I accept where I'm at today. And I think a lot of these people don't. You know, it's ironic to me that I have a higher level of fat acceptance than these women do. And it just goes to show, like, how fake they are. You know, I think if you truly accepted yourself in the moment, then you wouldn't be this envious of thin women. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't care. You wouldn't be thinking about what they're doing. And if you want to get healthy and stuff, you'd be focusing on yourself. I do not have time to compare my body to everybody else's body. I'm busy comparing my body to how it was 2 years ago within my hormonal recovery. I don't have that privilege to sit here and complain about clothing at a store. Like, I'm comparing, gosh, do I have sleep apnea tonight? I don't know. I don't think I did this morning. Maybe I don't have it anymore. I'm going to have to see tonight. That's what I'm comparing. So I think even the people that they claim to care so much about, which are people that are super morbidly obese or really, really huge, they don't understand the health struggles that we have, which would be a way to actively advocate for fat people in a real way. They don't understand the privilege that having your health is. And even if you're not at this point, you know, I think thin people should have a sense of privilege, like feel that they are privileged for being healthy, because it is a privilege, and it's also something that you have to work to maintain. But if you don't have it, whew, you know, if I was going to sit here and do a diatribe on what I was jealous of thin people, I would say I'm jealous of their health, because I don't have it. And I'm getting it, but it's really, really difficult. And it's years of building back my body and building back my health. It's really hard. I really, really messed myself up. So I just think all of this is so petty on all levels. I think that it's unproductive. I don't think it is advocating for fat people. I don't think it is helpful in any single way. I think it is completely a waste of time, and it is just bitterness, sour grapes, and being bitchy while trying to act like you're being so nice. This ain't it. This, I'm insecure and I'm jealous of you, but I'm gonna fight against you, but act like it's for someone else. Like, girl, bye. Literally. Anyways, you guys, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. I hope to see you again soon. If you liked it, please do like. I love your comments below as well. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye.